Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in and welcome back to the WTP Sports Stews podcast. We in the building. And first and foremost, we want to thank all the supporters out there for hitting that like button, sharing the videos, and subscribing to the channels. I got some very special guests with me tonight, and I'm going to start with my main man, Rob, the living legend, Mr. Robert Brown. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great this evening, man, as well as I could be doing. You know, my youngest brother today is his birthday. He passed away in 2020, right in the midst of the COVID epidemic. He didn't die from COVID, though, but he passed away, and he's celebrating a birthday today. Him, another one of my homies, Iggy Bone, and my cousin, Howie T. Shout out to y'all. Happy birthday. I'm feeling good this evening. I know I probably missed some other people whose birthday it is today, but those three are the main three that I celebrate on this day every year, July 9th.
Yes, sir. Happy birthday to the homies and the brother, man, for sure. And I got my main man, Mossberg of Level Up Sports 10. How you doing this evening, sir?
Man, feeling pretty good, man. And shout out to you as well with that, Unc. I know how your celebration is. Some great OGs in the late great, man. As they say, man, it don't stop as one of the great words that he would always say, man, as we do here, man, for the WTP. It's not going to stop, and we're going to keep going. And happy birthday to everyone across the globe as well. And we appreciate everyone's support throughout the week and tonight as well. And make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, not just tonight, every night, and to all those channels you see us scrolling at the bottom as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And last but certainly not least, my main man, SEC Sean. How you doing this evening, homie?
Man, we're doing pretty good. Hate to hear that for you, Rob. I know it's rough going through that, but happy birthday to everybody else that is here or not. It's still a birthday. So, man, we in it. Let's go. We've turned a page. It's time to rock and roll. Get this football season ranked up and going.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I know that's right, man. So I'm not going to waste no time. I'm going to get right to it. I appreciate the fellas for being here tonight. And I'm going to put y'all on the spot. I want y'all to call y'all shot. We're going to go through receiving yards leaders, catches leaders, touchdown passes. I want y'all to call y'all shot and let the people know who you think or who you are predicting going into the season will lead in those statistical categories. And I'm going to start with the wide receivers, and I'm going to start with you, Mr. Brown. Call your shot. Who's going to lead the nation in receptions this season?
Man, I'm going with Malachi Tony, the wide receiver out of Miami, to lead the country in receptions. Out of all of the dynamic wide receivers out there, I think he's going to be catching screens, intermediate balls, deep balls. This guy is going to be looked for constantly by Darian Mensah, and I think he's going to lead the country in receptions. Let's go, Malachi Tony. Make my prediction come true.
That's a really good one, man. And shout out to Noah Flores in the chat.
Yes, sir.
My man Mossberg, call your shot. Who's leading the country in receptions?
Man, this was tough. I think we got a great batch of wide receivers this year. I don't think we can go against that. You know, I think people would say I'm being biased going with my guy Deuce, but I'm going to go with the other guy, like Unc said, Malachi Tony. I think we've seen something special last year. He put on a show. I think he's going to continue, and we could be seeing him take a seat in New York at the end of the season as we talk about Heisman later on as well. So I'm going to go Malachi Tony. That's my thoughts, and it was very close with me being a little biased with my guy Deuce, but I feel Malachi with those screens and things like that will make the difference.
So 2 for Malachi Tony to lead the country in receptions. SEC Shine, what you got on this, homie?
We are not going with Malachi Tony. We are going to switch it We're going to move to the center part of the United States, just a little bit above Texas, to a little bitty spot called Stillwater, Oklahoma, and we going with Wyatt Young.
Like that,
You know,
man.
that's a guy that I went back and when I was coming up, when I was doing my research for this topic, that's a guy I kept going to. He's in a really good. Tell us why you think he's going to lead the country in receptions.
Well, he was the Julian Edelman to Tom Brady for Drew Mestamate. When he needed that, I always joke and say every team needs that little bitty one white dude who just runs across the middle and jumps around and makes stuff happen, and that's him. When the play breaks down, some players, Mahomes looks for Kelsey, right? He looks for Wyatt Young. So he's going into a bigger conference. Plays might break down quicker. He might have to get the ball out faster. And Wyatt Young's got the ability to get open, sit down, catch the ball, secure it, make a move, and he's gone. Or just get the first down. So, Oklahoma State's going to sling it. That's why I went Wyatt Young.
Yeah, those are some really great picks. And like I said earlier, I went back and forth with him, man. That's a really good pick. Malachi Toney is a hell of a pick himself. But for similar reasons, SEC Sean, I went with Danny Scudero, the new Colorado Buffalo slot receiver. And the reason why I went with him is last year he had 163 targets. 163 targets. And he led the nation in receiving. This season, I believe he's going to lead the nation in catches. I think he's the slot receiver position that go offense for Colorado is going to play a pivotal part. And I think Julian Lewis is going to look for him a lot like how Manning used to look for Harrison. It's politics as usual. I'm going Danny Scudero, slot wide receiver, Colorado. Those some really good picks. Shout out to Zacharias Domingo in the chat. How you doing? Make sure you like and subscribe. Shout out to Old Texas Tech Band 9144. Salute, homie. And Sandra Man, what's up? I suppose. But anyway, let's move. So we got 2 Malachi Toney, 1 Danny Scudero, and Wyatt Young from Oklahoma State. Pretty good list. And I'm coming right back to you, SEC Sean. Moss, did you have something?
Real quick, just seeing the impact we know Marsh made over at Michigan. Do you think there's a chance that he could get a healthy amount of targets over in Indy, knowing what Sig is doing over in that conference as well? Is it a possibility that he could get a healthy amount of targets? I mean, because I had him on my list as well. I had Malachi Toney, Jeremiah Smith, and knowing, this is just based on certain things, Deuce Robinson, and I had Marsh as well, because having those weapons, you just don't know. They will have those big games. Is there a possibility that Marsh could be one of those receivers that's up in, the top 10 when it comes to these receptions as well?
Yeah, I think so. But he's going to have a lot of competition with Charlie Becker, and we know Indiana wants to run the ball as well. So I do think he'll get a healthy amount of targets, enough to lead the country in receptions. I don't think so. And y'all want to chime in on that? No? Cool. SEC Sean, call your shot, man. Who's going to lead the country in reception yards?
These are all going to be tough. Some of this is flip a coin. I'm going to take low-hanging fruit on this one, and I'm going to stick right here in the city we're in, and I'm going Jeremiah Smith. I think he's going to be able to stretch it down the field. Obviously he can take little swing passes and take them to the house. I think he's the focal point of that offense. The only concern I have is if they lean on the running game a little bit more. But I think Smith, is an easy pencil on average for an easy pencil of 100 to 125, 150 a game. You put that up over, I mean, if we're just talking 10 games, you're looking at 1,100, 1,200 yards. That's not even counting anything he does in any playoffs or anything like that. So I'm going to go on receiving yards with Smith out of Ohio State.
Okay, one for Jeremiah Smith. That's always a great call. What you got on this, Moss? Call your
Man,
shot.
I'm calling my shot. I'm going to be biased with this. I'm taking my boy Deuce Robinson. The reason I take Deuce Robinson, when you get a quarterback 6'2", 220, we know what tall quarterbacks do in Florida State, but having Deuce Robinson as this target, he's a target, and I think Ashton Daniels can get him the football at times where, we all watched last year in games with Florida State where he had to get out the pocket and TC Castellanos to try to find those targets. I think having Ashton Daniels, that height can be a factor, him getting out the pocket or even sitting in the pocket, stepping into those throws, getting Deuce the ball when he needs to. I'm going Deuce Robinson, Florida State, Nose Nation. I think it's time for him to have that breakout year, and I think with what we bringing in, I think it's only right for him to get his respect and those yards that he needs to become this, top pick in the NFL upcoming season as well, I feel.
Love it. I'm huge on Deuce Robinson this season. I think he's going to ball out. Mr. Brown, call your shot, man. Who going to lead the country in reception yards?
I'm going with Mario Craver, wide receiver out of Texas A&M. I'm telling you right now, Marcel Reed and him are going to connect all the time. You remember how you played street football and you had your favorite wide receiver and you would just give him a nod or a wink or behind the back or whatever the signal was. I believe Marcel Reed and Mario Craver are going to have those kind of connections, especially on those third downs. If it's 3rd and 5, 3rd and 4, he's going to get him on a quick comeback, on a little curl, something, and you're going to see this guy mess around and break a tackle and get crazy yak yards. I just feel like the connection that these two are going to have, even though Texas A&M going to have some other good receivers too, I just feel like Marcel Reed understands, listen, I got this Mario Craver guy on my side. I got to make sure wherever he's lined up at on the field that he's my first option, and I think he's going to lead the country in receiving yards.
Mario Craver was a guy that I thought a lot about when I was coming up with this list, my man. That's a hell of a pick. But for me, fellas, man, I don't think you can go wrong with calling your shot on these guys that we're naming. I'm taking KJ Duff from Rutgers, 6'6", 225. I think they're going to feed him the ball a lot, enough for him to lead the country in reception yards. Fellas, he plays USC this year. They're going to be down. They're going to be throwing the ball. He plays IU this year. They're going to be down. They're going to be throwing the ball. Michigan, same for Penn State, maybe even a couple of those other Big Ten teams that we aren't expecting much from, but could surprise. I expect Rutgers to be down this year. I expect them to be passing the ball a lot. So I'm taking KJ. Go ahead, Moss.
No, I'm just thinking I'd be antsy, hearing some of the things we talking about. I thought about that Craver connection we seen last year. That kid has a different type of speed, a different level. And like you said, I think they're going to definitely be doing that. They're going to be on backyard football this year. And if you think about that, SEC Sean, correct me if I'm wrong, that one play, I think we was talking about, he found him on a deep ball. I mean, his speed is just unreal. And I think that was that LSU game late in that second half when they just blew the game away. So for me, watching him, seeing Duff, his 6'6" length, his greatness and what he displayed last year, I think he's going to double back and give us more. And like you said, Smitty, I just think about having Henry, when you have a player that elite opposite of you, will you be able to get those amount of yards? And you think of what Tate did last year. So I mean, I still love that pick. I think it's a great pick. Everybody we have, I think this is just something to see. And I think each position offensively is really loaded this year in college football, if we really think about it.
I mean, it was the deep ball. You're correct. There was an amazing deep ball thrown, but it went to Casey.
Okay.
Yeah, it went to Casey. Casey was more of Mario's in his hip pocket. That was his go-to. This year, it's going to be Craver. Let me jump on the real quick. You mentioned Smitty with Henry. That's one reason I went with Smitty.
Gotcha.
Because you can't put a safety over the top. You're going one-on-one with the best receiver, I think we all agree, in college football. You can't put a safety over the top on him. So,
yeah, nice. Great picks. Great points, fellas. I really like where this is going. Touchdown receptions. Where we at? There we go. Touchdown receptions. And I'm going to start with you, Mossberg of Level Up Sports 10. Call your shot. Who leading the country in touchdown receptions?
This was, for me, I think this was one of the toughest ones. I'm going Smitty from O Block. The reason I say that, I mean, he's just a threat. It don't matter where you line up. When you go look at the tape last year, I mean, you could go look at Malachi Tony, great tape. You could go look at Craver, great tape. Duff, I mean, the whole nine. But I think the thing with Smith, his speed, the way he commands to catch the ball, and he gives saying those looks at times. I'm gonna go with Smitty from O Block 4, as I call him, Ohio State, to lead in reception touchdowns this year coming in.
How many he getting?
Last year, if I'm not mistaken, I think he goes +3. That would put him at 17 touchdowns this year. Okay. I believe last year he had 14.
Yeah, 12. Yeah, 12.
Well, I put him at 15 then. I give him 15. I think 15 touchdowns is – I think that's – 15 is good because you think of the depth and the ability and having that opposite, the opposing receiver on the other side of you. I think 15 is great. I don't see nothing wrong with a Smitty for 15 this year, if not more.
Call your shot, SEC. Who leading the country in touchdown catches?
Man, I'm going to the West. Way West. Think Pearl Harbor. This team is going to throw the ball like crazy. I am going with Jackson Harris from Hawaii. Give me 16 for him. He had 12 last year as a sophomore.
That's a very intriguing pick. I love it. Mr. Brown, call your shot. Who gonna lead the country in touchdown catches, my man?
Man, SEC shot, I almost took a page out of your book and went to one of those schools that was in a group of 5 that I knew would be passing like crazy. I said, it's going to be one of those dudes, but I just couldn't leave Jeremiah Smith off of my list at all. You know what I'm saying? I said, I got to pencil him in on one of these. So I said, this is the one, Jeremiah Smith, Smitty from O Block 4, for the Ohio State Buckeyes. I feel like offensively, Ryan Day is not going to allow him to have opportunities to get in that end zone and not force feed him. I think this guy is going to have 15 to 17 touchdowns this season. And I feel like wherever they are on the field, there are going to be times when they're going to scheme up an offensive play where they're going to let Julian Saint or whoever the quarterback may be, they're going to let them know, listen, this thing is schemed up for Smitty from O Block 4. Get him to rock. And I think he's going to lead the country in receiving touchdowns.
Great call. All y'all really good calls. And I'm going to call my shot. And I feel similar to Rob on this. I just could not leave Jeremiah Smith off this list. But for the whole time, I already knew I was going to give him the nod for touchdown receptions. That's why I asked Moss how many he had. And Rob had 15 to 17. I'm feeling a little, I guess crazy on this. I'm saying 18. I'm gonna say Smitty gets 18 touchdown catches this year.
Can I ask all three of y'all a question since you all went with the same guy?
Yep.
Isn't Chris Henry the big body receiver that they may look to in the red zone though?
Yep.
But the question
Maybe
is,
he's a true freshman though. I ain't picking no true freshman over Jeremiah Smith. Not at all.
yeah,
I will bring him out there decoying. Hey, get out there, Chris Henry. We gonna throw the lob to you on a decoy, but we going to Smitty.
Yeah. What was you about to say, Post?
Listen. I think Chris Henry is gonna eat this year. I truly do. Anytime you got Jeremiah Smith opposite of you, it makes the game that much easier. And therefore, a big body receiver like Henry, definitely think he's gonna eat. But with the style of Ohio State's offense, I think that Jeremiah Smith is going to have a lot of mismatches, a favorable routes to run, and definitely in the end zone with that running back threat. I think it's going to open it up for him a little bit, and I think he's going to have and again, remember, he can score from anywhere on the field.
Yeah.
Anywhere. So I think he won't lead in receptions. He won't lead in yards, but touchdowns, I think he's going to have a freakish season. And if we played college football fantasy, this would be my first player off the board.
And that's what I was saying. Like, it's just like when you say, Henry, he's going to have a great season. I think he's going to have a dynamic season, coming across the middle. But when you think of that deep ball, you're going to go to Smitty first. And I think the grabs he made last year when he had that one-hand catch in the red zone, that's when you just mentioned red zone, I thought about that. Put the ball up, jump ball. That's like a slam dunk for Smitty, respecting Henry and his great talent. I think it's just going to be something to see this year. I think at times Henry will get him down there, but it's going to go to Smitty for 6. At the end of the day, that's what they want to do, is definitely get him the ball this year and push him to be that all over wide receiver that he has not got those awards for these last few years. We know he's well deserving of as well.
You on mute, SEC? I mean, post game.
Happens to the best of them.
You was cooking too.
I appreciate the comments in the chat, man. We appreciate it greatly. Texas Tech, man, is going in. He said freshmen show shining stars in the making. Oh, that's for sure. That's for sure. Longest touchdown reception of the year goes to who, SEC shot? Call your shot.
I was going Mario Craver on this one, but I changed. Still staying with the same team. Give me, where's number 3? Ashton Bethel Roman. The kid is electric fast. Has to stay healthy, but I think they're going to be pinned or something, and I think they're going to chunk one deep, and he's going to run under it and take it. So I'm going to go, he's going to have the longest touchdown reception. He's just dynamic, and from what I've seen. So he's the speed threat on our receiving core.
Good pick, Mario Craver. Again, I went back and forth with him on every category. Go ahead, Mossberg, call your shot. Longest touchdown catch.
And like you said, you think of Craver, you think of that speed, that game breaking. You can literally throw the ball up. He will catch it. He going to get up under that ball. And then you think of Smitty being anywhere on the field. He got one for 87 last year. This was tough. I'm gonna stay here in a Buckeye State, and I'm gonna go Smitty from O Block 4 with the longest receiving touchdown this year. That was tough. I wanted to go Craver. I just think the game-breaking ability, and we know they're going to be trying to hit home runs with Smith this year. From the gate, I just had to go with Smith. It's hard to not put him at the top of a lot of these when you speak in receivers and you think of that impact and that game-breaking ability. So I'm going Smitty with that the longest receiving touchdown this year.
How many yards?
I mean, he got one for 87 last year, Post. And he
How
was
many
chilling.
How many for this year?
I'm gonna say 94.
94 yards.
And you know Mossberg be saying some wow shut your mouth. If I say longest, I gotta put it in the 90s because last year was 87. And you gotta go ahead and put 7 to that. And that's why I got the 94, because that's gonna be a touchdown.
SEC Shine, how many yards?
ABR, give me 84.
84. Mr. Robert Brown, longest touchdown reception in college football this upcoming season. Call your shot.
Man, have you not been watching Steve Sarkisian in this Texas wide receiver crew? He is going to throw a screen pass to Ryan Wingo, and he's taking it at least 81 to 85 yards to the house. You've seen him do it with my man that plays for the Kansas City Chiefs right now, the fastest guy ever at the NFL Combine, and Xavier Worthy. Now you're about to see Ryan Wingo do it. Last year he had some big ones. He had a 77 or 78 yarder. This year it's going to be anywhere from 81 to 85 yards, because I don't think Steve Sarkisian will throw a screen inside the 15-yard line backed up by his own end zone. So I know he ain't going to do nothing crazy like that. But I'm telling you, Ryan Wingo is going to have the longest reception. It's going to be a screen. He's going to get a good block. He's going to stiff arm somebody's face mask off, and he's off to the races.
He gone.
That's a really good pick, Rob. That's a really good. Yeah. You call Wingo, correct? I was thinking about Ryan Wingo when you talk about longest touchdown reception. But I'm going to call my shot on Malachi Toney, fellas. And just the way Miami uses this guy. With Darian Miss at quarterback, I think he's a better quarterback than Carson Beck. I can see them dumping it, a screen pass, a little dump off, or just going through the middle. And I'm gonna say 89 will be the longest touchdown reception by a wide receiver this season, and that's gonna belong to Malachi Toney. Shout out to Time 18188 in the chat. WTP Sports. Always keep God first and yourself closer. Stay consistent and healthy. Yes, sir, my man. Yes, sir.
Appreciate you.
That's Wingo was a really good pick, Rob. He was on my list, but I just figured he's probably going to drop the screen pass, so I didn't pick him.
And that's possible too.
And it was just like I said, that toss up, man. I think Craver, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if he had one of those, deep balls, and just running up under it or just running right into it. Like you said, I think him and Marcel Reed is about to find a different connection this year. I think it's due, just off some of the little things I seen how they connected last year, as well as how he built that, rapport with KC Conception, and we see him now in the NFL. So I think, like I said, I think this year offensively, man, there's a lot of talent at key major positions, and it's hybrid. And I think we in for some possibly record-breaking seasons as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, indeed. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel. We working. Let's switch over to the running back position, fellas. Who is going to lead the nation in rushing yards this season? Let's start with you, Mossberg. Call your shot.
Man, I don't know if this was one of the toughest ones, more so than anything. A couple coming in off some key injuries. Feeling that they could really do some big things. We know how it was last year for Ahmad Hardy. We know how L.J. Smith performed. We know how Mark Fletcher. One of the players I'm looking forward to is Isaac Brown. I don't know what it is about this L.J. Smith kid. I love this kid, man. I love what he brings to the table. And when you running behind a college team that reminds me of them Cowboys back in them Emmitt Smith days, I think you only got to respect it. And I'm going L.J. Smith, Provo, BYU, lead the nation in rushing yards this year.
You know, that's a very good pick, man. What you got on this SEC, Sean? Call your shot. Rushing yardage leader.
Well, I was going to do it and stay with the SEC, but I can't. I was going to do it and go back to Stillwater, but I can't. So we're going to go take Frazier out of Georgia.
Ooh.
I think Kirby Smart is going to lean on the run game even more this year. And I think Frazier goes over it and takes the rushing lead.
You want to call how many yards?
1537.
Ooh. You talk about a workhorse.
He is. He's going to be their
it.
workhorse. They're going to have to lean. I don't have a lot of faith in Gunnar Stockton to carry my team. Not that he's terrible, but he's not the upper echelon in my mind.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to lean on Frazier.
Hey, I'm with it 100%. Rob, call your shot, man. Who's leading the country in rushing?
I just feel like L.J. Martin means more to BYU than some of the other running backs across the country, even though there's some really, really good dynamic running backs. I just think L.J. Martin is going to get way more opportunities than the rest of those guys. Now, he might not break no long runs, but he's going to move the chains and he's going to get carry after carry after carry. I'm going with L.J. Martin, running back out of BYU, and I got him going for 1,500 to 1,700 yards this season. I just feel like he's going to be a workhorse for them, and they're going to need him to be.
Yeah, I mean, I guess great minds think alike. All great picks, but I was always going to pick L.J. Martin out of BYU. That's just a monster of a running back. I like their schedule. I feel like the teams in the Big 12 aren't going to be able to do anything with their running attack. And you parlay that with that excellent offensive line they're projected to have. And I think L.J. Martin can get 1,500 yards and lead the nation in rushing.
That's my mistake on that. I did say L.J. Smith. I do mistake that. I do apologize. And I'm thinking of one of my guys I did play high school basketball with. It is a legit name. I do apologize. But, yeah, I'm going same way, 1,500 to 17. I was thinking about 1,530, knowing what the running backs put up last year. I think 1,700, when you think of, the major conference, that was the, number to reach. So I think 15 to 17 is a great number, and I definitely feel he could do that this year.
Yeah, the old Texas Tech man said, watch out for Quentin Joyner. And then Time back in the chat, he said, keep an eye on Raleek Brown. Bro, I've been talking about Raleek Brown for a couple months now. I'm totally with you on that. Texas Tech man said Cameron Dickey. Time said Justin Haynes. He transferred to Georgia Tech, though, but I like that pick.
Yeah.
Excellent pick, fellas. That Russian title is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting watching college football this season.
Yeah.
Y'all realize, I just looked this up. Nate Frazier had about 130 less carries than Kejuan Lacey. He only carried the ball 173 times last year.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous efficiency.
Right. And he almost put 1,000 yards up.
Yeah. I mean, not for nothing, but look at what Jeremiah Love did. People forget he was sharing the backfield with Jadarian Price, and his numbers was just crazy. But let's move on. Rushing touchdowns. SEC shine. Call your shot. Who leading the country in rushing touchdowns?
This one's real tough because you need somebody that can power it in near the goal line. So you're going to need a good offensive line too, because you're not really going to get a lot of long breaking touchdown runs unless you're playing Texas A&M in the college football playoffs or the University of Texas. This is where I'm going to flip over to y'all's pick with LJ Martin. I think he's going to be the bell cow when they get in the red down within the 5-yard line. I think he's going to get the bell cow. So I'm going to go LJ Martin from BYU.
Mm-hmm.
Great pick. What you got, Mossberg?
You know, for me, I seen a lot of opportunities for a running back in the Big Ten last year. I think this year he's going, command the ball more, having 2 wide receivers. That's crazy. Smitty. We know Henry coming in. I think everybody know who I'm talking about now. That's Bo Jackson at Ohio State. I'm going to take him on rushing touchdowns. I think the opportunity is going to be there for him to break away and not just get touchdowns in a run game itself, but the opportunity in that red zone for Ohio State. I think he could be a difference maker. Everybody's going to be looking for them to pass that ball. They're not going to be expecting a shotgun with an option read or things like that to where they getting that ball to that running back. I'm going to go Bo Jackson. This was a tough one. I know what LJ Martin brings. I know he's one of my guys, but I like the fact that he can get a touchdown anywhere on the field. I think this could be a year to where he could break away and get 10 to 15 touchdowns on the ground, if not more.
Got you. Mr. Brown, rushing touchdown leader. Call your shot.
I mean, it's got to be LJ Martin. I feel like he's going to go against the easiest defenses to score touchdowns on in the Big 12. I think if you was a running back in the SEC, you're going to have a tough time seeing pay dirt when you get in the conference schedules. When you play in the Big 10 and you're a running back, you're going to have a tough time seeing pay dirt when you in such a tough schedule. And it's getting better in the ACC. I just feel like LJ Martin is going to be able to find pay dirt a lot easier in the Big 12 than those other running backs are going to be able to see it. I got him scoring 12 to 15 touchdowns. It could actually be more because he could be a 2 touchdown a game guy. I think I'm lowballing him with 12 to 15.
Yeah, those are some really great calls, fellas. Who am I going to call my shot on? I'm going with Caleb Hawkins at Oklahoma State, the transfer from North Texas. Listen, fellas, he had 25 last year. Now, you can say he ups competition as far as defense in the Big 12, but I don't think so. I think he's going to run wild. I think they'll be in scoring position a lot this year, and I think they're going to turn around and handle the ball. Yeah, their quarterback's going to get his. He's going to pass for a lot of touchdowns, and he's going to pass for a lot of yards. But for my money, he had 25 last year. I think he gets close to that number this year. Any final thoughts, fellas?
That's just one dynamic back. When you think about that transition, I think he's going to be that back to transition, but make that transition look like smooth sailing. I think, that's one running back I'm looking forward to seeing this year is Caleb Hawkins. When you make a transfer from, conference to conference, that's one to look at. And, Oklahoma State was 1-11 last year. And we have them moving to the top, middle of that Big 12 this year. So I think that's something to look at as well.
Shout out to Time. He said, I have a quiet pick from West Virginia, Sam Cook, for most rushing touchdowns. I don't think it's a long shot, though.
That's not a long shot.
I don't think it's a long shot at all, my man. That's a very good pick. Let's move on to rushing attempts. And we're going to start with you, Mr. Brown. Call your shot. Who's going to lead the country in rushing attempts?
I mean, I don't see why I should go any other direction than LJ Martin again. I just feel like this dude, he's going to be everything for BYU. Most carries, most yards, most touchdowns, LJ Martin. I just feel like that's what they're going to have to do, especially down the stretch in games. He's going to be their closeout guy. If they're up and they're going in last 7 minutes of a game and they got the ball, you already know that this dude is getting the rock and he's going to try to get 3 yards in the cloud of dust to keep them chains moving and keep that clock rolling. I'm with LJ Martin. I just think he's going to carry the ball a whole lot.
Yeah, great call, man. Man, listen, y'all, as y'all see, we really like LJ Martin this year. Yeah. If you play college football fantasy, definitely a first round pick. SEC Shine, call your shot, man. Who's gonna lead the country this year? Rushing attempts. I'm sorry.
Well, the easy pick that I'm not gonna take is Cale Helms. And somebody's going, who is that? That's the quarterback from Army.
Yeah.
Oh, I listen, bro. I promise you, I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. Because I was gonna say the same thing, but keep it running back.
Yeah, I am. So I'm going to stay in the SEC, but maybe somebody a little off the radar here. How about Ball out of Florida? New offense. Yeah. The one returning serious weapon you have. You're going to have to lean on that a little bit. So I'm going Ball out of Florida.
Great pick.
It's a great pick.
Mossberg, who you going with? Rushing attempts leader. Call your shot.
Man, I don't like Unc said. I think it's tough to go away from LJ Martin, knowing what he'll be playing against, knowing the ability of that offensive line, and that Timmy. I like his thoughts with that as well, because I was thinking LJ Martin, Cook, West Virginia. It was a tough pick, but LJ Martin across the board. If I'm gonna feed that ball to somebody, I'm giving it to LJ, because I know he's gonna make a mark as Martin is on his way into that end zone, and he's looking like a top 10 pick. As we look at these running backs when his time is due, I think his name is going to be one that we talk about a lot, and he's one of our guys. As you see, like Poe said, we love LJ Martin and what he's done for these last few years at BYU, and we see what he's going to be this coming year. I'm going LJ Martin.
Great pick. I'm going Keywan Lacey for rushing attempts. They're going to have to feed him the ball because he's a special player. He's one of the best running backs in college football. He can score from anywhere on the field, just electric, powerful guy. I think they're going to lean on him this year. So I'm going Keywan Lacey, Mississippi. Any closing thoughts, fellas? No? SEC Shine, jump us off, man. Call your shot. Who going to have the longest rushing touchdown this season?
I'm torn between two. We're going to go back to Caleb Hawkins from Oklahoma State. Give me 72.
Okay.
I think if he gets out in the open field, you saw the kid last year. The competition level, call it what it was. Defense in the Big 12 might be the same competition level that he played.
Yep.
I think he's going to have the ability to get loose, and you saw it. If he gets loose, he's gone. So that's one team where almost every skill player can take it to the house at any given time. So I'm going to go with him. That's my pick.
100%. 100%. Rob, what you got on this, my man? Longest rushing touchdown. Call your shot.
Man, this was a really, really tough one. Oh, man, this is a tough one. I'm going to go with Keywan Lacey. I feel like Keywan Lacey's going to find a crease on an 85-yarder, a 90-yarder, and take it to the crib. I'm going to go with him. I wanted to say Isaac Brown or Raleek Brown, one of the Brown boys, but because my last name is Brown too, I was going to go with one of them. But I'm going with Keywan Lacey, man. I just feel like he's going to hit a crease. It's going to be a curtain call, man. And it's going to be 6, and it's going to be for 80, 85, 90.
Good call. Mossberg, call your shot. Longest rushing touchdown of the season.
Man, it's like Unc said, it was tough. As we see in these running backs, it's quite a class that we're looking at respectively this year at the running back position. I'm gonna go down to Morgantown. I'm gonna go to West Virginia with a Cam Cook, a guy I think, we all know what he comes to West Virginia to do. That's run that ball. I think they're gonna feed him the ball. I think he can be one of those guys that get one of those breakaway touchdown runs. We've seen Tavon Austin do it in this West Virginia uniform. We've seen Pat White, even though he's a quarterback, but we know what that West Virginia offense could be. I think they brought Cam Cook there so he could get it going back in that right direction. I'm going to say Cam Cook. And you know how them West Virginia games go. They be in some of them wild games to where you see one of them touchdowns happen. And I'm going to go Cam Cook for a 87 plus yard touchdown. Those type of things happen. The more, so I'm gonna go Cam Cook, respectively. I think that speed got, and I was torn between him and Jackson. I think both of them have elite speed, but I'm gonna go Cook from West Virginia.
Yeah, that's a really good pick. And shout out to Time in the chat, man. He's saying Sam Cook and Ahmad Hardy. He torn between the two. Man, that's a heck of a duo to be torn between. That's for sure. But for me, man, I'm going to go Raleek Brown, Texas. I think he has the longest rushing touchdown of the season. I'm going to call it 96 yards. I think they're going to be backed up. They're going to handle the ball. He's going to see that crease, and he's going to be off to the races. So give me Raleek Brown from the University of Texas for the longest touchdown of the season. Anything else, fellas?
I'm going to say this, man. If I'm a running back in college football and you don't have another guy that can take some of this old load off of me, if I'm LJ Martin, I'm saying, yeah, I want to get the ball every down, but I really don't because I want to have a long NFL career, and I can't have it if I'm toting the rock every daggone play or every other play or carrying the ball way too much. I've got to have a running back with me that's toting some of this rock because I don't want to have to carry the load all by myself, taking all those hits. And I think that's the reason why Georgia probably will not have 1,000-yard rusher again this season because Kirby Smart is going to share that wealth. And they haven't had 1,000-yard rusher, but I think one time in maybe the last decade because he's just going to share the rock like that. Even though he's had some great running backs, he just shared that rock.
Yeah, that is a fact, homie.
Dan, just real quick, Post, not to interrupt you, but just thinking about that running game over at Texas, I think that's going to be something to see when you speak and so Raleek Brown being that big, longest run. I think Texas, this may be the year. We know they like to run the ball, but I think you really see a lot of running backs, but some of these young running backs making a big impact in big schools like he'll make over at Texas. We see how LJ Martin is carrying the torch, his young self. We see Caleb Hawkins, we see Jackson over at Ohio State. So much, young talent that I think is just something to think about. And we talk about the running back position and the pay. I think it's time that the, NFL look at that. It got to be increased because these are loads that these guys are taking on their body. It's a toll that they're taking from that college and getting to that next level. So I think it's only right that they think about that pay too as well, upcoming years.
Yeah, no doubt about that, homie. Let's move on to quarterbacks. I'm going to start with you, Mr. Brown. Sorry if I got the order mixed up, y'all.
Nah,
I'm trying to navigate the chat and everything. But anyway, passing yards, Mr. Brown, call your shot. What quarterback is leading the country in passing yards?
It's going to be one of them Big 12 dudes, either Drew Nustamaker or Connor Wigman. But I'm going with Drew because I feel like his offensive coordinator, his head coach is going to pick that rock up. I can definitely see him throwing for 4K this season because I feel like this offense is going to be so wide open like it was at North Texas. He's going to lead the country in passing yards. I'm going with Drew. Is it Mustermaker? Mustermaker? Or Mustermaker?
Mustermaker.
Mester. Let's go.
what you got? Go ahead.
Did we skip passing attempts?
Yeah, I was gonna go to it next. It's all good.
Okay, I'm sorry. I had my lineup got off, so I want to make sure I was just like I thought I took a nap or something. I didn't know what the hell happened.
Yeah, that's on me. My bad. But that's a really good call on Mustermaker. I love it. Mossberger, Level of Sports 10. Call your shot, man. Who's leading the country in passing yards?
Man, it's tough because I think about that Henry Smitty. I think about these weapons that Arch will have this year. I think of what Mensa's doing, but like he said, mess maker is going to make a mess the way he passed the ball. I think he actually does that. I think he throws for a record passing yards over there in that Big 12. He has quite a few targets. You know, he's a guy that I watched and talked about last year as well. I like this kid. I think he comes in the Big 12 this year and stamps his name for good and let everybody know I'm here, I'm alive, and we will. I'm going to go with Mustermaker all over the world throwing that football.
2 from Mustermaker, leading the country in passing yards. What you got on this SEC, Sean? Call your shot.
Well, we're not going to have a clean sweep because there's too many weapons sitting at the U for Darian Mensah. We're going with Mensah.
Those are how many yards can you see Mensah putting up this season, SEC?
Well, give me one second. Let me pull up what he put up last year. He put up 39.73. Mustermaker put up 43.79. So he was 400 yards. He was 400 yards behind Mustermaker. He didn't have the weapons he's fixing to have.
Yeah,
that's true.
One knock that I might take against Mensah on this is we know they like to run the ball in Miami too. So that could take some away from him. Difference is we're talking about yards, not attempts. That stable of receivers that dude has to throw to is up there with the best of them. I mean, I'm not going to say it's Ohio State level, but it ain't far back behind it. So I just think he has a lot more weapons sitting there in Miami than he had at Duke, and what he did at Duke is pretty impressive. So
100%. Everybody went. Fellas, I'm gonna call my shot. Passing yards leader in the country. It may surprise y'all a little bit, but I'm going Steve Peanut Butter and Jelly, quarterback Syracuse.
Ooh.
I mean, I really was impressed by what he did last season, his first 3 games. 245 against Clemson, 382 against Colgate, 416 against Connecticut. Then he gets injured, comes back for the bowl game, I believe, 274 against Tennessee. I think this is all Fran Brown been waiting on. He has his quarterback healthy. I think Steve Angeli is going to put up a lot of yards in that ACC conference this season. I'm calling my shot. Steve Angeli, quarterback Syracuse, is going to lead the country in passing yards.
I believe Fran got him a high profile freshman wide receiver over there coming in this year as well. And I think that's going to, put a lot more excitement over there at Syracuse as well. So I think that's a heck of a pick, when you get that extra, added elite receiver talent coming in and knowing what he's done last year and the possibilities what he could do this year. And for me, with the Mustermaker and Mensah, it was, for me, I agree, SEC Sean, he has a ton of weapons. My thoughts was, will he be able to get out that pocket and move That's where I thought those yards would go to Messermaker, knowing he will sit in that pocket and, like you said, just throw darts, as Unc was talking about when we mentioned that 4,500 yards. I just think he's just a sure talent. I think we did a great job at these quarterbacks as well when you think about this on the passing yards. Just a great selection as well.
Drop back attempts. SEC Shine, jump us off, man. Who's going to lead the country in passing attempts? Call your shot.
Micah Lato. And I know y'all are like, who is that? What is he? This dude? Or is he on drugs? No, I'm not. He's a quarterback at the University of Hawaii.
Yep.
If you know who their head coach is,
Timmy Chang.
he likes to throw the football. So I'm going with him to have the most attempts.
How many you think he'll get this season?
Whew. I'm going to go over 550.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Hey, they shooting fish in a barrel down there, man.
He threw. I'm going to look it up real quick. Y'all can go ahead, but I'll get back to you. But I'll tell you how many he threw last year. It was insane. Let me see. There. Let me find him. It's hard to find because you got to sort through all these stupid people. So, y'all go ahead. I'll get back to you with how.
Let's see.
And by the way, he was a freshman last year.
Oh yeah. That definitely may be the money pick. That might be the pick you want to run the DraftKings with. But Mossberg, who gonna lead the country in pass? Hold on. Yeah, I started with SEC, right? Yes. Mossberg, who gonna lead the country in passing attempts? Call your shot.
I think when you think about Ohio State and you think of the amount of talent that they have at the wide receiver position, but you think of that running back position, I was thinking Julian Sand. I wanted to think about Texas Tech, but I don't think it's enough experience for them to really put that much on Hammond's shoulders. I think he'll definitely be throwing the football this year, but I'm going to go with Julian Sand. He threw 391 last year. I think he throws just slightly over 400 passes this year. You have three incredible targets. We know Smitty from 0x4. We know Henry. And then that third, Ennis, I forget that third receiver that they have. And then the way he throws the ball out the backfield. I think he throws about 400 passes. I'm going Sand out of Ohio State.
Excellent pick. How many?
I'd say about 400. 391 last year. I think he's right at about that same amount, if not reaching over that 400 plateau, early in his young career. And possibly some of these quarterbacks, we don't know how many more years we got watching them on the college football level. So we got to definitely appreciate what they're giving us this coming season, because I think it's going to be must-see Saturdays football, some Thursdays and Fridays as well, for sure.
Mr. Brown, call your shot. Who going to lead the country in attempts?
Drew Messermaker. He's going to be throwing the ball at least 40 to 45 times a game, man. He's going to have at least 480 to 490 passes, just short of 500. Now, I think it's going to be a Hawaii guy for sure, but I'm going to try to stay in the power four with this thing. I think he's going to throw almost 500 passing attempts. That's just during the regular season. If they make a bowl game, he's going over 500. But I think for sure he's going to throw at least 40 to 45 passes a game. But, of course, the Hawaii guy is going to be more like 50 to 55.
100%. And, I mean, great pick, Rob. I had the same. I had Drew Messermaker leading the country in passing attempts. Man, I can't wait to see this Oklahoma State offense. Let's move on to passing. Oh, go ahead.
I need to change one of my picks though from back earlier. It was the receiving touchdown guy I picked from Hawaii.
Yeah.
He transferred out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know where he is.
Mm-hmm.
So, if possible,
just say Hawaii. Just say Hawaii wide receiver.
Yeah, Puli Afik. That's the other Hawaii wide receiver.
Yeah.
So I'll take him.
Okay. Anything else, my man?
Oh, he didn't even play the full season last year, and the quarterback out there I took through 430 times.
Bro, that's insane. That's insanity. But then again, we saw that from Chang, man. We saw that back in the day from Chang.
That's exactly it.
So passing touchdowns, fellas. I believe it's on you, or no, it's on Mr. Mossberger, Level of Sports 10. Who leads the country in passing touchdowns?
Yep, it's on me. This was, I mean, when you think about it, like you got a lot of targets out here. I think the opportunity in the Big 12 is open, knowing what those defenses are like in a Big 12. You have shootouts on numerous occasions. I think I got to go right back and hit up Drew, hit him on the phone and holler at you, man. I think he's definitely going to throw a boatload of touchdowns. It was between, him, Arch Manning. The reason I say Arch Manning, he has a boatload of weapons this year. But then you think of that defensive side and what that defensive side of the ball could do, turn the ball over as well. So I'm going to go with Drew Messamaker. I think he could definitely do it over Oklahoma State and just air it out, man. I wanted to say the last one, but I think Julian Sanders is going to be throwing the ball this year at Ohio State a little more than he did last year for some reason. So I'm going to go with this one, and I'm going to take Drew. Most passing touchdowns. I think he could get about 40, possibly 50. I mean, he could air that ball out.
Yeah, great pick. Mr. Brown, who you got on this? Call your shot. Who going to lead the country in passing touchdowns?
I'm staying in the Big 12, but I'm going with Connor Wickman. I think that quarterback at Houston, the weapons he has out there, I think he's going to light it up in terms of getting the ball into the end zone. I really feel like he's going to be right behind Nustemaker also in passing yards and possibly even attempts as well. But I think when it comes to touchdowns scored, touchdowns thrown, it's going to be Connor Wickman. I think he's going to be able to take advantage of some of these porous Big 12 defenses, and he's going to lead that conference and lead the country in passing touchdowns.
Really good pick. I like that pick a lot. SEC Shine, call your shot. Who leading the country in passing touchdowns this upcoming season?
Brendan Sorsby. Oh, no.
Good one.
I was going to place a bet. Man. I gotta go in quarterback here. I gotta go with one who's got some stable receivers outside, always has good tight ends. I gotta go Dante Moore.
Ooh. That's a big pick, yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, fellas, how many passing touchdowns? I know I think Mossberg put up a number. Did you put up a number, Rob?
I'm going Wigman. I think he's going to get 35 to 38.
SEC Shine, how many?
Yeah, right around the 35, 38. That's probably where I'm putting him. He had 30 last year. So we'll uptick it if Evan Stewart can stay healthier. So we'll uptick it about 8 or 9, 38, 39.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Fellas, I'm going to call my shot. Surprise. I'm going C.J. Carr, University of Notre Dame. Do y'all remember who the offensive coordinator for Jaden Daniels was when he won the Heisman? That would be Mike Denbrock. Do y'all know where Mike Denbrock is the current OC at? The University of Notre Dame. That was Jaden Daniels' second year. under that offense. This is CJ Carr's second year under that offense. I believe Carr, with the offensive line he has, with the playmakers he has, Jaden Grayhouse, Jordan Faison, the Ohio State transfers, the depth at tight end, the receiving back they have this year, I think CJ Carr is going to drop 40 on their heads this season. I'm calling my shot. CJ Carr, 40 touchdowns, leads the nation in passing touchdowns. Let's move on to completion percentage. And I'm going to start with you on this, Mr. Brown. Who leads the country in completion percentage this season? Call your shot.
I mean, I can't go away from Julian Sain, man. I think he led the country last year. I can't go away from him. I just feel like the weapons that he's going to have, the fact that he got Smitty from old Block 4, I feel like he's going to make sure that he gets the ball as often as possible. They're going to have a good tight end system. I feel like he's going to have a really high completion percentage again this year. I think that they're going to scheme things up to the point where he doesn't have to read a whole lot of defense, and he's going to get the ball out a little bit quicker because we all know how indecisive he is when defenses force him to hold the football in his hand. I just feel like he's going to lead the country in passing efficiency again this year. So I'm going with Julian Sain again.
Excellent pick. Mossberg, who you got? Call your shot. Completion percentage. Who's going to lead the country in that this season?
I'm doubling back. Like Unc said, I think, a lot of people forget what Julian Sain did last year. You're a true freshman. You're putting on that uniform at the Ohio State, as they say, respectively, and what the people call it, to go out and throw 77% through a Big Ten season. I don't care when you playing Big Ten football. When you this young and your completion percentage is through a season, 77%, you got to respect that and follow up that next season and only say that he's going to come out and perform just that good. And like you said, with having that man out there amongst boys at times, Smitty from O Block 4, that's here to stay at WTP Sports Deuce. Nobody can have that. We ad-libbed that since we came up with it. But Smitty from O Block 4, Henry, along with everybody else, I think that's a big have and what makes his completion percentage this great. So I'm going to say Julian Sain. I think he just does that job even better this year.
Call your shot, SEC Shine, completion percentage leader.
Well, I mean, it's hard to go against Julian Sain after what he did last year. But I think I'm going to. And I'm going to go back to my touchdown leader, and I'm going to Dante Moore.
It's a good pick.
I think what he did last year was, he went 71% versus 77% for Sain. Didn't have Evan Stewart for most of the season, if not all, had other injuries. So I think if his receivers stay healthy, I think he's going to be right up there at the top.
100% agreed. And I was going to call my shot with Dante Moore for every reason SEC Shine just explained. Let's move to our final statistical category, fellas. And we appreciate y'all in the chat. We appreciate y'all for liking. We appreciate y'all for subscribing. Y'all keep us going. This is why we do this. Plus, we love to talk sports. But SEC Shine, man, I want you to jump it off and call your shot. Who gonna lead the country? Who gonna lead the country in interceptions?
This one's gonna be a little bit harder. I can't remember the kid's name is the reason. I'm sure we can get a comment from one of our loyal followers in the chat out from Lubbock, Texas. It's the cornerback out there. I cannot think of the guy's name to save my life. but I'm going with the DB from Tech. I'll look him up. In fact, let me just
No,
look
my man. What quarterback is gonna
No.
lead the country in interceptions?
Well, come
My
on.
bad.
That was a defensive question. Marcel Reed, probably. I guess paying attention would work. But hey, the cornerback from Tech is going to have the most interceptions, by the way. Throw the most. I'm going to go back out to my guy from Hawaii. If you throw the ball that much, you're going to have quite a few picked off.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go back out there to Micah Alhedo for the most interceptions. If you're throwing the ball that much, it's going to happen. Tips, overthrows, we all know the rule.
Mossberger, Level Up Sports 10. Call your shot. Which quarterback is going to throw the most interceptions this season?
Shout out to Parlay Poe if he in the chat. I know I got your Wolverines losing 2 games, but I'm going to say Bryce Underwood.
Ooh.
I know this is a tough pick. And when I say Michigan's going to be 10-2, just think. These quarterbacks that we talk about Drew. He only had 9. Julian had 8. We know Arch production. You know, when you think about the interceptions, they happen. This is one that's tough for me to pick. I'm going to throw Bryce Underwood out there.
I can guarantee you one thing, my brother Mossberg. If Bryce leads the country in interceptions, they won't be 10-2, my God.
No. But I'm gonna say that. I know I picked on to be 10-2, but when you think about it, I think about Bryce Underwood. You know, I even think about our guy that transferred from Florida. Sorry that I'm forgetting his name. I just think of those two, the great talents, but the possibilities of them turning that ball over. We've seen it the last couple of years. I'm going to go Bryce Underwood. It's a tough pick for me, respectively.
I feel that 100%. Mr. Brown, who you got leading the country in interceptions thrown? Call your shot.
Well, my yards leader was Drew Mustamaker. My attempts leader was Drew Mustamaker. My interception leader will be Drew Mustamaker. He's going to throw more yards, and he's going to have more attempts, but he's also going to throw more interceptions. Mustamaker, you're going to lead the country in interceptions thrown, my buddy. You're going to lead the country.
Wow. Drew Messamaker going to have a heck of a year, man.
It's going to be an up and down statistical year.
That's for sure, man. That's for sure. But I'm going to call my shot. This was difficult trying to forecast who would throw the most interceptions, in my opinion. But I'm going to go with Jared Curtis, the freshman starting quarterback at Vanderbilt. It looks like he's going to be the starter. I don't expect him to throw 25 interceptions, but I think he'll be up there and he'll lead the country somewhere between 12 to 15. Y'all got anything else before we close out tonight?
I was, my question was wondering how Will Hellman, would really fare when you think about this Texas Tech season coming in this year. I wanted, to include him, but I think the fact that Michigan is going to throw the ball a lot, that has something, with my choice when it pertains to Bryce Underwood, and we seen it last year. That's my thoughts. But, man, heck of a show today, man. Shout out to what you're doing, what you put together for us, man. This was a great show. I'm glad that I was able to be here and see you guys in this chat as well and do what we do best for sure.
I appreciate that, bro.
If you're picking a fantasy team based on what we said, you're going to want L.J. Martin at your running back. You're going to want probably Drew Mestamaker, it sounds like, at the quarterback, and you're going to want Jeremiah Smith as your wide receiver. And to justify, if you do wind up getting the defensive back from Texas Tech throwing the most interceptions, Texas Tech has had a really bad year.
100%. Mr. Brown, what you got before we get out of here, my man?
we talked about the offensive skill positions in college football next year. We mentioned some names, but there are tons of other people out there, man. This freaking college football season, it was electric last year. It's going to be even more electric this year, man, with all of these players, all of this talent, quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers. It's going to be off the chain, and I can't wait. I think we're almost 50 days away, I think. Something like that, or 60 days away. 60 days away. I'm ready for it, man. I'm ready.
Man, I can't stress what you just said enough. People, we appreciate y'all support. We appreciate y'all tuning in. We appreciate y'all comments. We appreciate y'all hitting that like button, subscribing to the channels. We truly appreciate that. And on that note, for Rob of WTP Sports News, from Mossberger, Level of Sports 10, for SEC Shine at the SEC Shine podcast, and me, your gracious host, Postgame of Postgame Sports, we out of here. Peace.